Okay, so now we're going to play the deal or no deal game. In this video, I'll show you exactly what we do when we go out to scout for new fix and flip deals. We'll walk through the house to get a sense of what repairs need to be made to bring the house back up to the after repair value. Now, based on the amount of repairs that are needed, we'll estimate how much these repairs will cost us. Finally, we'll take a look at this info to decide if this is a deal or a no deal type of scenario. So here's property number one, a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom house with about 1,288 square feet. It has decent curb appeal, needs some basic landscaping, but that's minor. I'm more concerned with having the bars removed from the front window. There's something about having bars on the window that makes potential home buyers feel that the area just isn't safe. In all actuality, this house is in a decent area, so my guess is that the bars have probably been on for years and the previous homeowner just never took the time to have them removed. Okay, so now we are in the living room area. The first thing I notice is the floors. The floors look terrible. We're going to want to put down some hardwood floors to make it look nice. We're going for a high-end rehab here, so want to make sure that we have high-end things throughout the house. Next, we have the windows. Windows look decent, but overall, once again, high-end rehab, we need brand new windows. We're going to take those bars down. And when we put the new windows up, we'll put new trim around as well. Here we have the fireplace. Fireplace is decent. We'll probably just clean it up a little bit. Okay, as we look around the room, we see some imperfections on the wall. Not a big deal. We'll patch it up, throw some paint up there. But if it's too much and the wall's too deteriorated, we'll get some new drywall, throw it up there. Not too expensive, so that's a very minor thing. Moving on into the dining room area, we see dark color paint. So of course, we're going to come through and repaint the whole house. So that's not an issue at all. Same issues we had in the living room though. When you look at the windows, you see they're old and outdated. We want to get brand new windows throughout, take those bars down. Also, we see like a little chandelier there. Want to get a new chandelier. Now moving on into the kitchen. So here in the kitchen, the first thing I notice are the cabinets. The cabinets need to be ripped out. We need to put brand new cabinets in. Same thing with the sink and appliances. We want to go through, have granite countertops over top of those cabinets. We want stainless steel sink. We want stainless steel appliances. We want everything in here to look brand new and more modern. Now, before we go downstairs, we're going to go head upstairs to take a look at the bedrooms and the bathroom upstairs. As we walk back, notice the heating source is radiant heat, so we have radiators. We're going to swap that out and put a whole new HVAC system in. See this door right here? Want to get rid of it. We're going to put all brand new interior doors throughout. We're going to paint inside of the closets. Here's a little view of the backyard. It's a little bright. Towards the end of this video, we'll go out in the backyard and get a better view. But from what we can see here, it's a nice sized backyard. Here we see the stairs. We're going to need new stairs and railings, so that's something else we'll go through and do. Once again, we'll probably put new drywall here because the drywall appears to be very damaged. Okay, we're going to need a new window right here, but once again, we're going through the whole house and replacing all the windows in the house. Now here we go upstairs. Look like the attic is open. Can't really see much up there. Okay, so right now we're going to go to the bathroom first. Immediately notice the flooring needs to be changed. Of course, the painting, tiles, sink. So we're going to redo this whole bathroom all over. Notice the old lighting, the old mirrors. Once again, the radiant heat. Typically, we'll come and we'll gut the whole bathroom and put up a nice new modern design. Okay, now let's move on to the bedroom. A lot of times the bedrooms all need the same stuff. One good thing is this has nice hardwood floors, so we can go through and refinish the hardwood and give it a really nice look, and it won't cost us too much more. Once again, we're swapping out all interior doors. We're going to replace all these doors with brand new doors. Windows, once again, will be replaced. Closets will go inside, either repaint or throw up new drywall. Probably throw up new drywall to give it a nice fresh look. Repaint the walls, replace the trim. Right, now we're moving on to the next bedroom. All right, so now we're going into the other bedrooms. The more I take a look at these walls, the more I realize that we're really going to need to go through and put up new drywall throughout the whole house. We're going for the high-end rehab, so we don't want to cut any corners here. We want to make sure everything's pristine. All right, so now we're done upstairs. We're going to make our way back down to the basement. Okay, so now we're going to head down to the basement. You just saw right there we need a new light fixture. Not a big deal because we're going throughout the whole house, replacing all the light fixtures. Right here, used to be a door. There's not a door anymore. We're going to put a brand new door. As we walk down the stairs, take a look around. Notice we're going to put new steps in here. Overall, look at the condition of the basement. Looks really, really rough. So we're going to go through and frame out the whole basement and put up drywall and really finish it out. Here we have an old water heater. Right here we have the old heating source. So we're going to remove all this. So what happens at the beginning of every single project, we have what we call a demolition phase. During that phase, our demo crew, they come through and they pretty much take away anything we're not going to be using during the project. So for instance, in this case, they're going to take the heating source out. They're going to take out the old kitchen. They're going to take out the old bathroom, pretty much knock down and clean out the place so it's as bare as possible so that we can begin rebuilding back up again. Now here you'll notice the wall's in pretty bad condition, but that's not a big deal. Our plan here is to go ahead and frame it out as I mentioned before. We're going to frame out the basement and throw up some drywall. We're going to finish out the basement, make it look really, really nice. All right, and here we see the electrical panel. We're going to have our electrician come in and just take a look and make sure that there's no upgrades that's needed to the electricity in the house. Right here you see some electrical boxes hanging down, and that's pretty typical when you have a rehab like this. So the electrician will check into all of that for us. In addition to that, what we're checking around for right now in the basement, we're looking at the pipe. And specifically what we're looking for here is to make sure that there's not any major missing pipes or anything like that. And if so, we want to factor that into the cost we're going to pay for this rehab. Okay, so we're moving on to the backyard. As you can see, the backyard has a decent size to it. It needs some landscaping. In the back right there, far in the back, you can see we might need to put a gate, kind of like the neighbor has back there. So we want to make sure it's very aesthetically appealing when we're all done. So shouldn't be too hard. We have a lot of space to work with. And we're not going to do anything major in the backyard. Our goal is just to make it look nice. Okay, so now that we're all done looking inside the house, I pulled up a couple comps. Now, this is the first comp. Notice this comp has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. If you think back to the house we just went through, even though it was listed as having 1.5 bathrooms, I didn't see that second bathroom. So in the previous house, we're going to need to go through and add a bathroom in when we finish off the basement. Now this house is slightly bigger. The other house that we were looking at was about 1,288 square feet. This is about 1,360 square feet, but it's still in the same general area. Now, the distance of this house from the other house is literally 1 block away. It's 1 street over. And this house sold within about the past 3 months. The sales price for this house was $180,000. So that's a pretty solid comp. So overall, this was a very good comp. It was a very high-end rehab, wood floors throughout, and also granite countertop, as well as stainless steel appliances and a finished basement. So this is a very good comp for our deal. Okay, so now we're moving on to our second comp. If you notice, this house is very similar to the other 2 houses. In this case, there's 3 beds, 1.5 bath, 1,288 square feet. The distance of this house from the first house is 2 blocks away, and this house sold within the past 9 months. Now, typically, we want houses that sold within the past 6 months. That's our ideal comp. However, in neighborhoods like this that are pretty stable, there's not a lot of homes being sold, so it's okay if we find houses that were sold, say, 9 months ago. And the big question when it comes to comps is, how has the market changed since that comp was sold? In this case, the markets went up, so that's a great thing. And the final sales price for this house, just like the first comp, is $180,000. So that lets us know $180,000 is pretty much the solid comp in this area. Okay, and moving on to our third and final comp, we have a townhouse. And this is actually a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse that's located about 0.3 miles away from the other houses. Now, this house is 1,360 square feet, so it's a little bit bigger than the house that we're looking at. One huge benefit of this comp is that it sold within the past month, so it's very, very recent. Now, the sales price of this comp was $160,000. So, it's not quite as high as the other houses that were $180,000. However, keep in mind, this is just a townhouse in the same area as the other houses that are detached houses. So, you got to take into effect the fact that detached houses are worth a lot more. So, I think this is a good third comp since there's no other comps in the area that sold within the past 6 to 9 months. Okay, so now that we've identified 3 comps for this property, let's take a closer look at the financials. For the holding cost, we always assume that the house is going to be held for about 6 months. That allows us about 2 to 3 months to have it fixed up and 2 to 3 months to have it on the market, worst case scenario. So in this case, the holding costs are about $10,000. And now we got the $10,000 estimate from the fact that we're looking for a $90,000 loan at about 15%. So that's going to come to about $1,125 per month. We then estimate that any utilities will cost about $300 a month, and builder's risk insurance will run us about $100 a month on this property. Now we estimate the closing cost at about $20,000. So the way we estimate that is we figure when we're buying the house, the loan fees and the points based off of a $90,000 loan is going to be roughly about $4,500. The recordation, the transfer, admin, and a lot of miscellaneous fees, we base that off about 5% of a purchase price, which is going to come to about $2,000 or so. And now when it comes time to sell the house, we know because of the state that we live in that 6% of the sales price will have to go to the real estate agents. So we estimate that the ARV is going to be about $170,000. So based off of that, we'll pay about $10,000 to the agents. Now, as far as miscellaneous costs, you can never really calculate those, so we factor in about 2% of the sales price. And in this case, that's about $3,400. Okay, so at this point, we're going to estimate our profit. We want to get the expected profit, and the way we get that is by taking the sales price or the after repair value, which is what we're estimating it to be. Then we subtract the purchase price from that, we subtract the repair cost from that, we subtract the holding cost from that, and then finally, we subtract the closing and the sales costs. In this case, comes to about $51,000. Now, in the next slide, I'll show you exactly how I got that number. All right, so now we're at the point where we need to decide, is this a deal or is it not a deal? Now, the purchase price was $34,900. I'm recommending in this case that we submit a full price offer for $35,000. Reason is, seems like the comps are pretty solid, and we'll get into that more a little bit later, but the repair estimate that our GC came back with was $50,000. So in this case, I recommend that we allot for $55,000 worth of repairs. Reason being is, if your labor and materials $50,000, you always want to factor in an extra 10% or so, just in case something doesn't go right in the project. So we have repair estimates of $55,000. Our ARV is going to be about $170K, and that's a very conservative figure. Reason being is we had 2 solid comps at $180. However, we couldn't get enough comps, We had to find another comp for $160 for a townhouse, so let's play it conservative. Even though I strongly believe we can get $175 to $185 on this property, we're going to say $170 just to play it safe. And as for the hard money loan, hard money lenders typically lend 60 to 65% of the ARV, which in this case would be $102,000 to $110,000 max. However, in our situation, we only need about 90K, given the purchase price of 35 and the repair estimate of 55. So we're going to go for a hard money loan of about 90K. So now when we take all of our expenses and the holding costs, repair costs, the purchase price and everything into consideration, we're looking at about 51,000, but that could go as high as about 60,000 expected profit for this deal. Now, the reason why we can expect more profit is because we were very, very conservative in our calculations. So we estimated the ARV is going to be 170K. Well, what if it comes in at 175? What if it comes in at 180? Also, our repair expenses, we estimated we'll spend 55 based off of the estimate and based off the overage. But what if it comes to the 50 as we were quoted? And also, the final thing is the amount of time we held it. We estimate we'll hold on to it for 6 months, but hey, what if we have it gone in 4 months total? We'll save money there. So the main lesson that I hope you take away from this deal or no deal property number 1 is that it always helps if we're very, very conservative. Being conservative can only help us from losing money. We never want to lose money. Whenever you invest, you never want to lose money. So every step of the way, you want to factor in overages. You want to factor in and assume there's going to be more time. You want to factor in a lower sales price. That way, you're happy when you get more. Okay, so we've completed this deal or no deal for property number 1. And overall, I must say I feel this is definitely a deal. And the reason why this is a deal for me is, as an investor, my goal is to get anywhere from 20, 25K to 40K off of every property. So if I have an opportunity to get 50K, then hey, I'm all over it. And in this case, I think this is a fabulous deal.